Children's Dimetapp knows the sick day struggle is real. But it doesn't have to be. When sickness strikes, Children's Dimetapp works safely and quickly to relieve cough and other cold symptoms. And your kiddos won't run from its yuck-free sweet grape flavor. Trusted by parents for over 50 years. Children's Dimetapp, your stress-less sick day solution. Use as directed.
To realize the future America needs, we understand what's needed from us. To face each threat head on. We've earned our place in the fight for our nation's future. We are Marines. We were made for this.
I think you're on mute.
Workday starting to sound the same?
I think you're on mute.
Find something that sounds better for your career on LinkedIn. With LinkedIn Job Collections, you can browse curated collections by relevant industries and benefits, like flex PTO or hybrid workplaces, so you can find the right job for you. Get started at linkedin.com/jobs. Finding where you fit. LinkedIn knows how.
It was one of those British sporting moments which you remember where you were when it happened. 5th of August 2024, the Stade de France, Team GB's Keely Hodgkinson winning Olympic gold over the 800 metres and cementing her place in the affections of the adoring nation. An MBE and Sports Personality of the Year award followed, and British sport had its newest golden girl. I'm John.
And I'm Michael, and I'm in Birmingham for the Keely Klassic. It's a brand new event on the athletics calendar featuring Keely together with some of the sport's biggest names and some of her fellow Olympic medalists as well. Amy Hunt, Netheenal Mitchell-Blake and Georgia Bell here amongst others. Together with thousands of track and field fans, we were hoping, of course, to see Keely break the indoor world record over 800 metres, but injury meant that she had to pull out right on the eve of the meet.
But we did see some records and we'll bring you all the details. This is a special edition of the podcast with the Keely Klassic. And as ever, you can get in touch with Anything But Footy on our social media platforms or find us online at anythingbutfooty.com. So, Keely Hodgkinson, the Keely Klassic. She was still the headline event. I mentioned the records that we have and we'll hear from some of those in a moment. But it was devastating for Keely. I think she was nearly in tears when she had to pull out. But she was there. And what an afternoon you've had, Michael.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic afternoon. I think we've seen, obviously, as the organisers hoped, we've seen some records broken on the track. Probably not the records that we were necessarily expecting, because we've all come to try and see Keely break a world record and come to see Georgia Bell break a British record as well, over 1,500 metres. More on those in a moment, or more on Georgia Bell's one in a moment. But yeah, other records have been broken. What's been terrific, it's not been a full house here. And as I understand it, you know, there were a few people probably that would have come today to see Keely Hodgkinson if she was racing that maybe haven't turned up today. But what we have seen is a brilliant young audience as well, a younger demographic here in the utility arena than I've seen at any other British athletics event that I've been to. And I've been coming to these things now for a decade and a half, usually alongside you, Alexander Stadium, the London Stadium, Sheffield English Institute of Sport, events here as well. I've never seen a crowd so engaged and so young as they were here today. And credit to all the athletes as well, posing for all the selfies, signing their race numbers, giving the T-shirts away. Autographs seem to have returned as well. They're a thing. Everyone wanted to get Keely's autograph today. Credit to her, obviously hugely frustrating, because not only has she missed her event, her Keely Klassic event, and that attempt at the world record, it also means, of course, that her indoor season has essentially now been written off. We'll hear more in her words about that. But she was the first to arrive. And actually, as I'm sat here now in the near dark at the utility arena, with about 3 more people left to go, she's pretty much been the last to leave. You know, she's still been here signing the autographs, posing for the selfies as well. She's got totally involved with the event. She's been in the infield. She's done circuits of the track herself, you know, engaging with the crowds here and getting so many young athletics fans on board as well. So, yeah, I really do think if Keely had been competing here today, the noise would have been unbelievable. But that said, I still think it's been excellent. Let's hear from her. She did come and speak to me as well about what this meant. And I started by asking her about her injury.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Not had a long time to process anything, but unfortunately a couple of days ago in my last training session going into this weekend, I tore my hamstring. really, really bad timing, really, really unfortunate. We just think it was a freak accident. So yeah, the worst outcome we could have possibly thought of, but we're doing okay, and I'm glad to be here and enjoying the vibe of everyone.
And what does it mean for your indoor season in terms of those Europeans and World Championships?
Unfortunately, I won't be participating in them either. Yeah, I was hoping to maybe a wild out chance of maybe the World Indoors, but I've missed the qualifying period, so yeah, that one's out as well, and I'll just be focusing on outdoors now.
And what about this event, being here today and seeing the crowds and seeing your name up in lights?
It's absolutely amazing, honestly. It's a little bit surreal. When I walked in yesterday and saw the branding for the first time, like, it was a bit mixed emotions. I was like so happy that, and seeing everything come together was amazing, but obviously not being able to perform in front of this crowd was also really sad, so yeah.
Are events like this the future for your sport?
I hope so. I hope people enjoy coming today, and I hope the atmosphere has gotten better and better throughout the day, and I hope the competition just grows and grows each year, and we can put more and more into it.
It's been a terrific staging, fantastic crowd here as well. You must be pleased with how it's all turned out.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I think the team's happy as well. You know, it's always an interesting one putting on a new event somewhere and wondering how it's going to go. But I think it's been a great reception so far. Last
time we spoke, we were in Paris. I said to you, you would be Sports Personality of the Year, and I said to you, you'd get a call to go to the Palace. You said to me, you're calling it early. What would you like to manifest for this year?
Ooh, smashing my PB and a World Championship gold.
Well, all the very best. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Keely Hodgkinson talking to Michael, revealing right at the end there, Michael, what she wants to do this year. I mean, it was a great question. You can't ask these athletes, as we know from the Olympics, when they finish an Olympic final, what they want to go and do straight away. But she knows now what she wants to achieve in 2025, and a World Championship gold is certainly something that I think we'd all well like to see her do in Tokyo. Look, from my point of view, from afar, I think that the socials have looked incredibly brilliant over the last few days in the build up to the event. They look different. They look stand out. The colours are bright. The branding, the fact it was even KK as well, Keely and Klassic. I know some people were moaning that Klassic was spelt differently, but again, it just works as a brand. And as you said earlier, Keely was there. Now, you don't see Saka or Rodri signing autographs at Arsenal or Man City on the pitch or walking around the fans when they're injured, do you? And I think the fact that she was there doing that, and athletics, as you rightly say, has to do something different.
That is a brilliant analogy, actually. Compare, what we've seen here with Keely Hodgkinson, who in this country, not just this country, globally, is the best at what she does. That's why she's the Olympic champion. That's why she was Sports Personality of the Year. That's why she's getting the trip to the Palace, because, she is the very best at what she does. And to have her here today and to have done what she's done today as part of this event has been fantastic. The other thing I would say about the Keely Classic is the organisers have got the staging absolutely spot on. We've had a DJ in the infield. We've had all the athletes coming out to walk on music. So Destiny's Child, for example, that was the walk on music for Georgia Hunter Bell, as she's told me we now need to call her, because she's got married since the Olympic Games as well. So we had the athletes coming out to music. We had announcers here as well, including Catherine Merry. This is her home city, of course. They were getting involved with the crowd. There were some jokes. There was fun happening all around us as well. So it was very much an immersive experience. And for me, and having been there at the Manchester Regional Stadium, having been here for indoor championships in the past, Diamond League meetings as well, this was the closest I've seen domestically to, do you remember the World Championships in Doha, where they had like the lights and the laser show? And they brought a bit of that into the Olympics in Paris, didn't they? For some of the events, the men's 100 meters final got the full lights and music treatment. That's what they've done here. They've brought the lights in. They've brought the music in. They've brought the big personalities in with Keely Hodgkinson as well. It would have been fantastic to have seen her race. It would have been brilliant to have seen her break a world record. She'd have been across all the back pages tomorrow. But I still think that this event, in what has happened today, in the way it's been staged, the way it's been organised, and the action that we've seen on the track, has been successful.
So let's get on to the action. It wasn't all about Keely, as you say. There were a series of other events, as you'd expect. And Keely's training partner, Georgia Hunter-Bell, the Olympic bronze medalist, going for her own record, aiming to break Laura Muir's British indoor record over 1,500 metres. Here's how it unfolded with Michael.
You hear again as the bell goes, the noise, the home support and the energy from the crowd. Now Georgia Bell needs to show her shape. She needs to show her form. She's just moving 1-2 metres away from Sarah Healy, and she's racing down that back straight. It is Georgia Bell against the clock here, looking to try and break that 3:59.58 mark set by Laura Muir. Georgia Bell comes around the penultimate bend and then the final bend and into the home straight. Here is the roar. She's just going to be on the line, Georgia Bell, and she's just going to be outside that British record. 4 minutes and 65 as Georgia Bell embraces Sarah Healy.
Yeah, it was good. It was very much going to be a time trial today, so very different to say last week's race where it was tactical and stuff. So we kind of wrote on our hand approximately the splits that we would need to get. I knew it was going to be pretty close, so I would have loved to have just dipped under 4 minutes, but I'm pretty happy with running 4 dead considering I ran half of it. So yeah, a good start for early February.
How much have you enjoyed the event and being part of the Keely Classic and seeing so many young people here?
Yeah, it's been great. There's just so many lots of girls as well, especially that hopefully look up to us and Keely and everything she's achieved, and is just motivating them when you get to see them up close. It's just been really fun. I loved all the music. It just felt like a bit less pressure and more of a fun element today, which I really liked. And there were some fun touches, we had our dressing rooms and things like that. So it was a bit of more glamour to track and field.
We saw you at TalkSport recently talking about some of the issues, challenges about young girls coming through in the sport. It's something you're passionate about.
Yeah, I think so. And people ask what's the bit of advice that you could give to young girls, and I think the main thing is just to keep in the sport. There's a huge dropout rate when you come to be a teenager, especially with women and young girls, and I get it. I dropped out for ages and then came back, but I just think it's just so important to keep those girls in the sport because they could be future Olympians one day. So as much as we can do to make kind of safe, happy environments for girls to train in.
And important then to have role models like yourself, Georgia Bell and Keely Hodgkinson.
Yeah, hopefully, I mean, I had those role models that I looked up to, like Kelly Holmes. I remember watching her on the TV, and that stayed with me forever. And I remember meeting her and going on camp with her and being just so amazed that I could meet this person that I'd looked up to. And then obviously, we made it to the Olympics, so hopefully we can do that one day for some of these young girls.
Couple of quick final questions. What's it like being introduced now as a full-time athlete, an Olympic medalist? Yeah. How did your boss take it when you told him you were leaving?
Yeah, he there was a sweepstake on at work about whether I would come back. Apparently it was 50-50 of who thought that I would and wouldn't. But no, he fully understood. He's you've got to follow your dreams and stuff, and they're still super supportive. So it's nice to get the intro. As just an Olympian, that's what everyone dreams of.
And benefits to being full-time around so many things in your sport.
Yeah, honestly, it's just I wake up for the day and look forward to the day so much more. Last year I would just look at the week and think, how on earth am I going to get through this? Just really early wake-ups and a full day of work, training twice, and you're just completely knackered. Whereas now I'm still completely knackered, but I can actually, sleep and recover and go to that physio appointment at 10 and go to the gym and everything. So yeah, I'm really just looking forward to seeing the impact, and I'm still just enjoying every day.
Well, great to see you.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
So Michael and Georgia Hunter-Bell, as you rightly say, we need to call her. A personal best, 4:00.63, just missing out on Laura Muir's record. Ireland's Sarah Healy running 4:01.62 as well. And 5 of the 7 finishers in that race did their best ever. So 5 personal bests in that race. And as Georgia said to you, it was all about the time, wasn't it? They were trying desperately to get there.
Yeah, time trial. That's essentially what it was. I think I said it, didn't I, in the last 100 metres or so. This is Georgia Bell against the clock. She didn't quite get there. I mean, to put that into some sort of global perspective, it's very, very difficult to run a sub 4 minute 1500 meters indoors. You know, you've got little inclines which you don't have when you're outdoors. You run uphill when you go indoors, and then you run downhill as well. So it's very difficult to break that 4 minute barrier. Not many people have done it. I think the bigger picture, why Georgia wanted to be here today. Not only, of course, does she work with Trevor Painter and Jenny Meadows as part of the track club there, and she's a training partner of Keely. So, of course, she wants to come and support her training partner. But I think she recognised that this was a brilliant opportunity to showcase exactly what we've already spoken about to a younger demographic. And for her, as we heard there in that interview, very passionate, and as a dad of teenage girls who go to running club every week, who get their personal warm-up from Adam Jamili, by the way. So Adam, who made those videos for my daughter's school running club. That's what athletes need to go and do. That's what they need to go and do. They need to build their own brands and create their own moments. And, you know, if you follow Georgia Hunter-Bell on social media, she's brilliant. She brings you brilliant insights on Instagram into her training, her nutrition and everything else. And I think for her being here today, that was very much part of it. Unfortunately, that she just missed out on that record.
Well, also telling stories incredibly well on their YouTube channel are the Neilsen sisters. It was Lina in action today, and she became a record breaker. So we didn't get Georgia Hunter-Bell's record, but we did get the 300-meter British record for Lina Neilsen. 36.53, a national record over the rare distance of 300 meters. And she caught up with Michael afterwards.
Lina, well, congratulations. That meant a lot to you, that national record.
It did. You know, I've got high goals for myself this year. It's the best or nothing, so I knew it was within my reach. You know, it's a really hard record. It's Dina Asher-Smith's record, you know what I mean? So she's an amazing athlete. So, yeah, first British record of hopefully many. Actually, I should say I actually have the 300 hurdles British record as well, but this one means a bit more.
And a real young crowd as well, that's important.
Yeah, inspiring. There's so many girls here as well, you know, inspiring the girls. I love the throne at the end with the crown, which is Keely's Klassic. You know, race celebration. So I love that she's brought that personality into it. It's really important that we show up for the next generation, and I'm so glad that she did an event like this, and I hope that there's many more in the future.
And just finally, I know I've not been on it recently, but yours and your sister's YouTube channel, that is very much part of athletes now being able to tell their own story and putting their name on their own events.
Yeah, and when myself and my sister, we do that YouTube, we think about speaking to the younger generation. We want to show them the behind the scenes, that it's not so scary. You can have fun, which is why this event is so great. And just like handing the baton over to the next people that will run for our country and make us all proud. So we love doing it. We're slacking at the moment. There's a lot going on. I've got my own campaign gone out this week. So it's really, really intense, but we're hoping to get back onto it.
Yeah, the campaign, as you said, to be going out this week, talking a lot about your MS. That's obviously something that I know that you are very, very passionate about explaining, and explaining in the right way.
Yeah, my campaign launched this week. It's called MS Without Barriers. There's a lot of barriers to living with MS, and so many different layers. For me, it's more misconceptions, you know, showing people that this is what MS can look like, and then hopefully giving hope to other people who might receive that diagnosis. There's 135 people that get diagnosed every week, so if you think about that, if I can speak to one of those people and say, hey, you'll be okay, then that's the whole point of the campaign.
Always lovely to see you.
Thank you, lovely to see you.
Yeah, I know we don't want to make this all about me, but I did make the point there to Lina that I haven't been on an episode of her and her sister's YouTube channel, one of the episodes recently. I was on a Daryl's Diary recently as well. Daryl Nita also has a brilliant YouTube channel as well, where she gives some terrific insights into her training and competition. And I think it's what athletes need to do. I think what the organisers here have done is they've encouraged the athletes to take ownership of those channels as well, and, you know, get involved and speak directly to fans, which is why we had such a good crowd here, even, you know, without Keely Hodgkinson competing. For Lina, of course, she said that she has really gained a lot of confidence from the relay medal at the Olympic Games. She said she's grown as an athlete since Paris. And she's going to have a big season because there's more medals up for grabs, a world, European indoor title. She'll need to qualify here in Birmingham at the British Championships next week. And she'll be targeting more medals, certainly more relay medals as well, when the outdoor championships roll around at the end of the summer.
Well, also at those British trials will be Neil Gourley, who also broke a British record today in the men's 1,000 metres, 2:16.74 to finish second behind Samuel Chappell of the Netherlands. And Michael spoke to Neil afterwards.
Neil, how do you reflect on that? A record?
Yeah, a British record was objective, eh? I was happy to come away with that. that was something that was obviously the intention today. I'd kind of stated that was the case, and it's been sort of billed as the case. So there was a bit of pressure just to make sure that happened, and able to do that on kind of tired legs coming off some travel today.
The bigger picture, of course, what do you think of this as an event, as an innovation for your sport? There's a lot of innovation in your sport at the minute. Michael Johnson's got his series, Keely Klassic today. What's your view on it?
I think it's great. I think we need to try things. There's absolutely nothing to lose in terms of creating some new opportunities, creating some new events like this. I think in terms of the indoor season, it's great that we have a fixture. We need something because it seemed to have disappeared the last couple of years. So I'm glad this kind of venture stepped up and filled the hole.
Final question. It was a 1,000-metre record today, but we usually see you over the 1,500, of course. Globally, that is quite some event at the minute, isn't it? You are in literally a golden era.
Yeah, no, I am, and it's not anything new, I don't suppose. It's been happening over the last few years, but it gets better and better every year. I'm just not really surprised when that keeps happening. The trajectory keeps going up the way. Honestly, it's fun to be a part of. I could sit and sort of wish that I'd been born in a different era, but that's no use. I've got to, compete with who I'm up against just now, and I kind of relish the standard getting better and better because it drives everybody else's standards up.
Well, we'll see you at trials next weekend.
Yeah,
Thanks.
absolutely. I'll be there. Cheers. Thank you.
Just quickly on Neil Gourley, as you spoke to him there, so many amazing 1,500 metres record. Inga Britson broke the record again indoor this week.
Yep.
Josh Kerr, we know, is around. Jake Whiteman should have been there at the Keely Classic today, but pulled out earlier in the week. It's an incredible period.
Yeah, you didn't even mention the Olympic champion, did you?
No.
I mean, Cole Hocker. I mean, he's the Olympic champion. He's the gold medalist, and he didn't even come in your quick summary there of kind of world and hopes. Yeah, it's a golden era for 1,500 meters. What I always say though, and Neil kind of said there, if I was in a different era, would things be slightly different for me? There's always going to be 3 or 4 standouts, and go back 40 years, the standouts were Kramko and Ovett for argument's sake. It's the same argument we have in tennis, isn't it? Andy Murray, if he'd been in a different era, would he have won more? The fact that he was behind Nadal, Federer and Djokovic. Well, no, because he might have been in the era with Lendl, Edberg and Becker, or he might have been in the era with McEnroe, Bjorn Borg and Ilie Nastase. There's always going to be a 4th best person in the world or a 5th best person in the world. What Neil Gourley's done is he's turned up today, broken the record, he's enjoying his athletics, and he's got a big target, which is to get to the European indoors, he's told me.
Now, Molly Caudery is the world indoor pole vault champion. She won the Keely Classic today, clearing 4.73, and she told Michael as well that she's hoping maybe for a Caudery Classic.
What does the season look like for you indoors and then moving outdoors?
Yeah, it's very busy. We've got European indoors, world indoors, and then all the way in September, world outdoors. So it's a long season, but a very busy one. But I love competing, so I'm very excited.
And you feeling fit and well?
Yeah, I'm great. Yeah, so we're just trying to keep it that way.
We also saw a couple of Olympic relay medalists in action over the very short distance of 60 metres. Maybe not ideal for Netheenal Mitchell-Blake as he competed indoors at the Keely Classic, probably for the only time this winter. And Amy Hunt also competing in the 60 metres. She won the women's event. Let's hear from them.
We're just stacking up at quite a few wins and really trying to work on a lot of stuff, and it doesn't always come together how it is in training, which is what we saw today. It was a bit frustrating, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's just about winning.
I would have wanted to see a faster time, but I have to put into consideration the rounds I've ran today. So opportunity to see where I'm at. I need to put a bit of work in, but running in front of a home crowd, I never take it for granted.
So it's been a really good afternoon of athletics. I've really enjoyed it. The fact that Keely wasn't competing actually gave them more time with her in terms of trying to get that selfie, trying to get that signed T-shirt. They were handing out these limited edition Keely Classic T-shirts. They say limited edition. I think most people here have left with one, to be honest, except me. I must speak to the organisers about that. Yeah, but the serious point is, I think actually more people here today have had an interaction with Keely Hodgkinson because she was so present and she wasn't focusing on her last race that would have been the last event on track. So, I think from that point of view, Keely Hodgkinson's made a lot of people's day today just by being here and pressing the flesh and signing the autographs and posing for the selfies. These events and the bigger picture globally, what Michael Johnson is doing with his track as well, may very well be the way forward in terms of trying to switch some of these young athletics fans onto sticking with this sport.
Well, we've got the British Trials coming up. We've got the European Championships indoor to come and the World Indoor Championships as well. But the lights are coming down on the Keely Classic and on Michael, literally. He's been kicked out of the arena in Birmingham. I've got a sick child as well that I probably need to go and look after. So this has been a special edition of the podcast with the Keely Classic.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
O'Reilly. You need parts? O'Reilly Auto Parts has parts. Need them fast? We've got fast. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.